So just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Dan Hitomi, and I'm a product lead for Vuforia. I'm excited to be here today to talk a little bit about how we're helping our customers drive operator efficiency using augmented reality. If you're unfamiliar with us, PTC is a global software company focused on enabling industrial companies to realize business value by accelerating through product and service innovations. Some of you may know Vuforia. We're a division of PTC where we're enabling machine builders and machine operators to improve overall operational efficiency and frontline productivity using augmented reality. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of our customers, Harpak Ulma, and how they're using augmented reality today to accelerate learning and shrink training costs, improve accuracy and reduce production downtime, decrease the cost of human error, scrap, and waste, and reduce the risk and increase efficiency for their business. Let's set the stage with the market. So let's talk about what we see in the market today. First, as we heard from just even the earlier session, there is a growing worker skill gap. It's estimated nearly 53% of current manufacturing workers are eligible for retirement within the next few years. So in addition, as we heard from them, our customers are also having a hard time recruiting new, younger people. I think we can all kind of see some of the younger people, how they learn. It's different, right? They have an aversion to working in physical environments and industries. And I think to a degree, there is a perception that doing service work or doing something hands-on is something that is not so fun and maybe not so tech forward, right? They don't see the technology in the work. In fact, they probably see a lot of things where it feels, why are we still doing it like this? And I think that's where we need to change. We need to drive a little bit of embracing that technology, bring the technology to these frontline workers, and then hopefully that actually can serve as a way to recruit the new blood into this aging industry. Second, I think we also see that products and processes are getting increasingly more complex. The number of configurations and product variations make it much harder for people to understand how to service and support these things. And then finally, we also see firsthand that these factory floors are getting more complex, which adds to some more challenges in the servicing and support efficiency. And finally, I think we can all appreciate this. We're customers ourselves, so I think, expect more. Our needs are evolving. We see that in exchange for being connected, I think we're a little bit more impatient, right? We expect faster answers to our problems, and I think we see the same thing with these industrial customers, right? They expect to be served. Finally, I think customers do expect that being more proactive is a way to be differentiated, right, and add value on top of the things that they normally provide. So I think service is very much a theme in terms of how can we serve our customers better. Let's talk about frontline workers. I think we can recognize 75% of workers are on the front line. So let's talk about who these frontline workers are. I think they emerged from their shadows during COVID. I think we see that these are people who do work on the shop floor or in the field. They meet with customers on site, and they must handle things in person. These aren't your normal office workers. I'm an office worker, so I feel very comfortable. We're in a fixed location under comfortable environments. That is not our frontline workers, right? They're out in the field. Their connections aren't so stable. I've learned that firsthand just servicing our customers. That's some of the challenges that we still have to overcome, even though we have great technology. They move around a lot, right? So I'd say that inherently they are a mobile-first workforce, but they still require the same knowledge that we get today just on our phones, right? They use each other to learn. They use each other to get help. And so they need that knowledge to basically get their jobs done. We see frontline workers being enabled and trusted with technology. So I think that's something that I've taken keen interest in. I think probably 5 years ago, people were starting to experiment with phones. And then even back then, it was basically this idea that we'll get them the cheapest phones, right? Because they're going to break. But I think we've been seeing more and more increasingly, it's more about what are the tools that we need to give to them? So we are seeing customers enabling their workforce with what we'd consider more cutting edge modern phones like an iPhone, right? They're actually experimenting with HoloLens, RealWear. These are all more kind of modern devices that are now being entrusted with some of the people that historically you would probably say, let's give them the bare minimum, and then let's not spend a lot of money here because they might break it or lose it. Right? I think that is not what we're seeing. I think people are definitely seeing that we need to empower these workers so that they can help our customers and support our service and represent our brand well. So finally, I think the takeaway is they are using modern phones, tablets, and even eyewear today, and that is helping them get their job done more efficiently. Let's talk about training. I think we heard a little bit also from that previous session that before you do, you must know how. So we're hearing this and seeing this firsthand from our customers as well. We see that there's costly and ineffective training programs. We see outdated paper-based instructions. So I think we can all see this, right? We can see this firsthand. Just look around. Remember those younger workers that we talked about? Watch what they do. Watch how they interact with content. It's very different, right? It's very much a little bit ADD, but I do think it's just we have so many choices. We have an instant way to basically get the information we need at the right place at the right time. And I think learning by doing is a very powerful way for us to train. We need shorter and more targeted instructions that enables them to see how it's done, not read how to do. And then I think we see that challenges capturing the expertise is also very challenging. No one here probably likes to do any paperwork, right, or documentation. So trying to get people to standardize that and follow a process, I think that is challenging, right? So I think those are some of the things that we're seeing. Those are things that we're actually actively thinking about how we solve. And then we see that there's also poor compliance and safety documentation all around. Instructions don't always explain the why that can lead to mistakes. And we don't really afford them the opportunity to use common sense, right? Which could actually prevent a mistake from happening, right? You only need to see what's in front of you to realize that maybe something's wrong. And so I think those are cases where we need to do better, right? Maybe it's instructions, maybe it's remote assistance with instructions. So now that I've laid out the market, let's talk about the customer. The customer we're highlighting today is Harpak Alma. For those that aren't familiar with them, we've been collaborating with them to solve their real-world business problems. Harpak Alma designs and builds automated packaging solutions. And chances are, if you've been served pre-packed food, then it might have been a Harpak Alma machine that packaged that food. So what we're seeing is in a highly complex and rapidly changing industry, Harpak Alma packaging is at the forefront of using cutting-edge augmented reality to solve these real-world business problems in the packaging industry and to meet its customers' needs. So let me just show you what they're doing and how they're using augmented reality today. How cool is that, right? That you can actually just take a look, walk up the machine, and you can actually see more information that enriches and enhances your understanding of that machine, how to use that machine, how to service that machine. I think we're not that far off from that Minority Report type look and feel, right? I think it's actually there. I've seen it firsthand. I know what the technology is capable of doing. I wouldn't say we're quite there yet. We're still working out through some of those kinks, but it's definitely on the horizon, and I think it's very feasible. So we've been working with Alex Willett, who is an innovation engineer at Harpak Alma. And Alex has heard some of these customer workforce challenges firsthand. And then he's also seen those workforce challenges at Harpak Alma, and he's relayed those problems to us. And so in addition to this increased machine and process complexity, what he's seeing is with their customers, they face these workforce challenges, including labor retention issues, employee training challenges, scarcity of technical skills, and staff shortages. And what he's noted here from his quote is that their customers see anywhere from 30 to 60% workforce turnover quarter to quarter. And then over the course of that year, that basically represents having to change out the entire frontline workforce and 20% on top of that. And I've heard that with a number of customers as well, right? I think I've heard from one story that to get 800 people to come in, they have to basically make 1,500 calls to get people in, right? So it is a very challenging climate to basically get people sufficiently motivated and to come in for work. So let's talk about some of these workforce challenges. What Harpak did was they came to us with some of their workforce challenges and their customers' challenges. So their strategy is to bring value to its customers through smart connected machines and using augmented reality to help their customers visualize and use that data. Data collection and presentation not only play a key role in addressing that skills gap, but it helps to optimize efficiencies and gives them a competitive differentiation in a fairly competitive market. So how we're helping them is we're giving them the flexibility to create some of these solutions that they're imagining that will optimize their packaging operations and then help them meet their diverse customer needs. How they use augmented reality today is to offer immersive and enriched training through these spatially and contextually aware experiences. And this kind of instructional guidance through experiences, it can be accessed at any time from anywhere, and the instructions meet them where they are in the moment at hand. They don't have to walk back to their office to go find that binder, right, to find the instructions. They can actually have those instructions pushed to them at that moment of need. How we're helping them accelerate training is we feel that in order for them to provide great service and support, they need to recognize the value of augmented reality to enrich their training delivery. So what they've done is their employees and customers learn by following AR training sequences on how to perform a tooling change or diagnose common faults or even troubleshooting procedures. This type of training helps employees visualize complicated procedures with a combination of rich media, videos, text, images, AR. So these are just digitally displayed in the context of their physical object. It really enhances, what they're looking at and enriches the meaning of what they're looking at. So we believe this ultimately helps improve knowledge retention. It speeds up their time to proficiency. And most importantly, it helps them build confidence so that they feel more and more comfortable to basically handle some of these issues themselves. Let's talk about just increasing accuracy and efficiency. So in order to provide differentiated service and support, Harpak needs to recognize the value of augmented reality to enrich that training delivery to their customers and operators of their machines. How we do this is educating and training their customers can reduce errors made by the operators, which if we know, sometimes it's not the machine that's at fault, it's the operator, right? So if they don't use it correctly, if they don't know how to maintain it correctly, you can create this perception that it's the machine's fault, not the operator's fault. So I think this is the value of this, right? Which is to be able to train the operators so that they know how, and some of the maintenance technicians, they understand how to service that machine properly on its normal expected run, so that helps protect Harpak, right, as the machine builder who's providing this machine and equipment to them. So the augmented reality piece of this enhances the frontline workers' experience by providing on-demand, step-by-step guidance during the execution of those critical tasks. This can help reduce the chance of error by enforcing certain checkpoints and confirming that the task was performed properly. So we actually capture some of those activities. We know where it happened. We also know what step they took, and then we can actually record that. So that starts to ensure that people are following the right instructions. And then finally, we're really starting to apply augmented reality in a way that we can actually start to more efficiently capture some of that domain knowledge and expertise. So anytime they're interacting with these, we have an understanding of that machine, and that can be fed back, right, to help basically improve some of the instruction sets. So once we actually create these enhanced work instructions and make that very accessible, that's when we can make these small workforces even more capable. So Alex at Harpak Alma, he's actually already been testing some of these enhanced instructions that we saw, and with some of their customers, and the early outcomes are very promising. According to Alex, he said that we see the AR value proposition is delivering significant productivity gains in human labor, and what they're seeing is improvements on the order of 30 to 60%, depending on the specific application. In addition, Harpak Alma is also using remote assistance, and they're using AR-based annotations that stick to physical targets. The value of those sticky annotations is it drastically reduces the risk of miscommunication and doing the wrong thing despite having the right instructions from the remote expert. So the outcomes that we're seeing from their use of AR-based remote assistance is faster time to repair for the customer outcome and reduction of direct travel costs that might have been incurred by Harpak Alma. So let's actually take a look at what Alex is cooking for his customers at Harpak Alma.
We recognize the machine here, we picked up our area target, and what we want to do is pull in some data streaming from the machine. So we already have the serial number here, it's OEE, the machine status, as well as who our operator is. And we're going to walk through a few different areas here so we can see the data from the sealing area of the machine. We can go over to the vacuum area and see real-time data. And we can also pan over to the back here and see data from the forming section.
So what you saw there is Alex combined IoT technology with AR to provide diagnostics around that machine, right? It allows their staff and the users of that machine, the owners of the machine, to view real-time performance data while the machine is running, right? Again, it's about learning and understanding. So this is a very good way for people to fully understand, how to use and how to operate this machine. So most importantly, using augmented reality, it really helps to visualize that simple operating sensor data. I think that was one of our learnings. One of our products actually collects a lot of the sensor data. We can certainly report it out on a screen. But wouldn't it be great if you could actually see some of that aggregate information in the context of that physical thing? And now you understand that data's meaning a little bit better, right? Maybe you can now adjust and modify things and see the cause and effect. And so these are important things where that sensor data can really help to decipher some of that complex data. And they use this to help measure OEE, which is basically the equipment efficiency or effectiveness. And so this is actually often used to basically also go from a reactive to proactive mindset. Let's fix it before it breaks. Again, from that video, we can actually also see Alex positioning the value of this way of expressing information to their customers. They, like us, we need to translate our product and services into business value for their customers. So for them, it is OEE, and OEE measures that equipment effectiveness where Harpak Alma wants to demonstrate their machines deliver on their high uptime and throughput promises. And what we find is that AR service instructions can identify the exact part in need of repair, guide the technician to the exact location. It provides them a step-by-step repair sequence to fix the problem. And then this ultimately reduces downtime and keeps the machine running at peak performance so that Harpak Alma's customers are meeting their production schedules and making money. And what Alex has stated here is that he's seen customers hit double-digit improvements in OEE. And so if you figure that for some of their customers, a minute of downtime can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. And we hear that consistently with our customers as well. Finally, I won't bore you with this, but it's just showing that I think all of us can relate that we cannot just approach these problems and say technology will solve it, right? We have to meaningfully help our customers express the value of this technology in the form of a business solution. So from improving new hire productivity or asset efficiency to lowering scrap and rework, We believe that augmented reality has a tangible impact on not only Harpak Alma's business, but also to their customers. And we tie that to things like revenue growth, operating margin, and manufacturing and service skill gaps. So we really try to tie it to those business outcomes. And if you think in that way, you can start to understand and apply technology such as augmented reality in terms of how that can be transformative to their business today. So I'll close with just seeing how Alex positions his solutions to his market of customers.
How do you think about the value this type of initiative brings to Harpak Alma packaging?
So ultimately, it's all about bringing value to our customers, and we measure that in terms of uptime or OEE. And we've had customers see double-digit improvements in OEE, which, if you figure for some of our customers, a minute of downtime can be tens of thousands of dollars. So they're very significant value that we've brought to them.
So that concludes my presentation. I want to thank Alex and Harpak Alma for helping us share that story with you all. So thank you again for your time. Here to answer any questions that anyone has. Otherwise, that concludes my presentation. That's correct. It's an interesting thing that's happening in the market, right? I'm sorry? Oh, sure. Actually, do you have a mic or? Yes.
Hi, I'm Matt Leschko. So the question was basically if he sees the future where the OEMs of equipment from all different industries start using this as a marketing tool, that their equipment comes with this, and if you use the AR goggles, then you have this competitive advantage.
We are starting to hear and see that. I think it ties into that challenge of the market, which is some of these products are getting more complex. Meanwhile, people are having a hard time recruiting and retaining people. And so I think some of that service responsibility can basically move back towards like the equipment manufacturer. So it becomes more of a kind of a service offering, right? It's a managed service. It's a managed machine at that point. And I think we see a lot of parallels with what we see in the software industry, right? I think increasingly we see software as a service where we allow someone else to basically manage the software on our behalf. Is that it? Thank you.